Hello and welcome to Switch Mania. It's your boy Clarence back at it again for a new episode. Today I have some incredible news to share with you all. The Nintendo Eshop is currently having a massive sale and we have found 30 must-buy games that you won't want to miss out on. From action-packed adventures to family-friendly titles, there's something for everyone on this list. So get ready to save big and join us as we explore these amazing deals. But before we start, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment down below. And if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest Nintendo Switch content. So without further ado, let's dive in. If you're looking for a fun and challenging puzzle game, Urban Flow is definitely worth checking out. The game has simple yet addictive gameplay where players need to control traffic signals to avoid crashes and guide vehicles to their destinations. The game's mechanics are easy to understand but require quick reflexes and strategic planning to master. With over 100 levels and different city environments, Urban Flow offers plenty of replayability and variety. The game also includes a multiplayer mode allowing you to team up with friends or compete against them. One of the things I appreciate about Urban Flow is its accessibility. The game is easy to pick up and play, making it suitable for gamers of all ages and skill levels. The graphics and sound design are also charming and add to the overall experience.
With the Urban Flow.
ATONE, Heart of the Elder Tree is a beautifully crafted puzzle platformer game that's sure to captivate gamers with its engaging gameplay and stunning visuals. The game puts you in the shoes of a lost soul searching for redemption, guiding you through a mystical world filled with puzzles, obstacles, and secrets. The game's key mechanics revolve around solving puzzles and navigating through the game's various levels, which require quick reflexes and strategic thinking. The game's difficulty level increases as you progress, but the satisfaction of overcoming each challenge is well worth the effort. One of the standout features of the game is its gorgeous graphics and immersive sound design, which truly bring the game's mystical world to life. The game's story and characters are also well crafted, adding depth and emotional resonance to the game's overall experience. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a unique and delightful crossover between the Mario and Rabbids franchises. The game is a turn-based strategy game that offers a refreshing take on the genre, with a healthy dose of humor and charm. The game's key mechanics revolve around team-based battles, where players control a squad of Mario, Luigi, Peach, and the Rabbid characters, each with their own abilities and weapons. The gameplay is strategic and challenging, requiring players to carefully plan their moves and consider their surroundings to emerge victorious. One of the most impressive things about this game is its presentation. The game's colorful and vibrant visuals are stunning and the music is catchy and upbeat, perfectly capturing the lighthearted and playful tone of the game. Donkey Kong Adventure is a fantastic expansion to the original game, adding a new story, characters, and gameplay mechanics that build on the original game's strengths. The expansion focuses on Donkey Kong and his allies, who must navigate a new world filled with challenging puzzles and enemies. The game's key mechanics revolve around turn-based battles and environmental puzzles, where players must use their characters' unique abilities to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies. One of the standout features of this expansion is the addition of new characters such as Rabbid Cranky and Donkey Kong Jr., who bring their own unique abilities and personalities to the game. The game's presentation is also top-notch, with stunning visuals and a vibrant soundtrack that perfectly capture the playful and light-hearted tone of the game. Save Me Mr. Tako Definitive Edition is a charming and retro-inspired platformer game that offers a lot of fun and challenge for gamers of all ages. The game's key mechanics revolve around navigating through levels filled with enemies and obstacles, using Mr. Tako's unique abilities to overcome challenges and reach the end of each level. The game's presentation is one of its standout features, with colorful and detailed pixel art graphics that harken back to classic platformers from the 90s. The game's music and sound effects are also excellent, perfectly complementing the game's retro aesthetic. One of the things I appreciate about Save Me Mr. Tako Definitive Edition is its accessibility. The game offers different difficulty levels, making it suitable for gamers of all skill levels. The game also includes a wealth of content with over 50 levels, hidden secrets, and multiple endings, offering plenty of replayability and value. Cthulhu Saves Christmas is a fun and quirky turn-based RPG that will leave you feeling jolly and festive. The game features the infamous Cthulhu who decides to save Christmas in order to gain favor with the humans he plans to destroy later. The game mechanics are easy to pick up but challenging to master. Players will navigate through various dungeons and battles, leveling up their party of characters along the way. The game's combat system is turn-based, with each character having their own unique abilities and weaknesses. One of the highlights of Cthulhu Saves Christmas is the game's humor. The writing is witty and charming, with plenty of pop culture references and jokes that will keep you laughing throughout the game. The pixel art graphics are also top-notch, with plenty of detail and charm that bring the characters and world to life. If you're looking for an old-school RPG experience with a fresh twist, then Cosmic Star Heroine might be the game for you. The game features a unique sci-fi setting where players take on the role of a secret agent named Alisa LaSalle who uncovers a conspiracy that threatens the entire galaxy. The game mechanics are a blend of classic RPG elements and new features that keep the gameplay fresh. Players will need to master the game's combat system, which features turn-based battles and unique hyper mode system that lets characters unleash powerful attacks. One of the standout features of Cosmic Star Heroine is its engaging story and characters. The writing is top-notch with plenty of twists and turns that will keep you hooked from start to finish. The game also features a colorful cast of characters, each with their own unique personalities and abilities. The next game is one of the highest rating games for the Nintendo Switch. The house in Fata Morgana, Dreams of the Revenants edition is a hauntingly beautiful visual novel that tells a captivating story of love, loss, and redemption. Players take on the role of a mysterious amnesia character who awakens in a cursed mansion with no memories of their past. The game's mechanics are simple yet effective, with players progressing through the story by making choices that affect the outcome of the narrative. The game also features gorgeous artwork and a hauntingly beautiful soundtrack that perfectly captures the game's atmosphere. One of the game's strongest aspects is its story and characters. The writing is top-notch, with plenty of twists and turns that keep you on the edge of your seat. The game's characters are also well developed, with their own unique personalities and backstories that add depth and emotion to the narrative. Robonauts is a fun and challenging platformer that will keep you on your toes. The game features two cute robot characters who must navigate through a variety of levels filled with obstacles and enemies. The game mechanics are simple, with players jumping, shooting, and dashing their way through the levels. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the levels get progressively harder, making for a satisfying challenge. One of the game's standout features is its colorful and vibrant art style. The game features a range of different planets and environments, each with its own unique look and feel. The soundtrack is also catchy and upbeat, adding to the game's overall charm. The Bridge is a beautifully designed puzzle game that challenges players to think outside the box. The game features a unique black and white art style with hand-drawn illustrations that create a sense of surrealism and mystery. The game's mechanics are simple, with players manipulating the environment to help the game's protagonist navigate through increasingly challenging levels. The game's puzzles require players to think creatively and use logic to solve, making for a satisfying experience. One of the game's strongest aspects is its atmosphere and storytelling. The game's story is told through a series of cryptic messages and metaphors, leaving players to piece together the narrative on their own. The game's soundtrack is also haunting and atmospheric, adding to the game's overall sense of mystery and intrigue. Roundguard is a fun and addictive mashup of pinball and RPG gameplay. Players take on the role of a hero who must descend into a dungeon and battle a variety of monsters and bosses. The game mechanics are a blend of classic pinball and RPG elements, with players launching their hero into the dungeon and using various skills and items to defeat enemies and collect treasure. The game's physics-based gameplay is both challenging and satisfying, with players needing to carefully time their shots and bounces to maximize their score. One of the game's standout features is its sense of humor and charm. The game's characters are all quirky and fun, with plenty of witty dialogue and silly jokes to keep players entertained. The game's colorful art style and catchy soundtrack also add to the game's overall charm. Cyber Protocol is a fast-paced and challenging puzzle game that will test your reflexes and problem-solving skills. You will take on the role of a hacker who must navigate through a series of increasingly difficult levels filled with deadly traps and obstacles. The game mechanics are simple, with players using quick reflexes and precise movements to dodge traps and collect data cubes. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the levels get progressively harder, making for a satisfying challenge. One of the game's standout features is its futuristic cyberpunk aesthetic. The game's levels are all set with a neon-drenched cityscape, complete with futuristic skyscrapers and sinister robotic enemies. The game's soundtrack is also full of synthwave and cyberpunk-inspired music, adding to the game's overall atmosphere. Sailfort is a charming and relaxing adventure game that takes players on a journey across the high seas. Players take on the role of a sailor who must explore a variety of different islands and oceans, battle pirates, and upgrade their ship along the way. The game mechanics are simple, with players using the ship's sail to navigate the sea and the ship's cannon to fend off enemy pirates. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the variety of islands and obstacles in the game's world make for a satisfying challenge. One of the game's standout features is its beautiful hand-drawn art style. The game's world is full of vibrant colors and detailed illustrations, making for a truly immersive experience. The game's soundtrack is also soothing and calming, adding to the game's overall sense of relaxation. Cosmic Top Secret is an intriguing and unique puzzle game that takes players on a journey through the hidden history of the Cold War. You will take on the role of a young girl who is on a mission to uncover the secrets of her family's involvement in the Danish intelligence agency during the Cold War. The game mechanics are a blend of puzzle solving and narrative-driven gameplay, with players exploring a variety of different environments, solving puzzles, and piecing together the story through a series of interactive documents and interviews. The game's story is both fascinating and thought-provoking, with plenty of twists and turns to keep players engaged. One of the game's standout features is its use of real-life documentary footage and historical documents. The game's world is brought to life through a blend of real footage and animated sequences, giving players a unique and immersive experience. Please Touch the Artwork is a delightful and creative game that encourages players to interact with and explore a series of beautifully designed art installations. Players take on the role of a museum visitor who is tasked with discovering hidden elements within each artwork through touch and exploration. The game's mechanics are simple, with players using the touchscreen to interact with the art installations. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the variety of artworks and interactive elements make for a fun and engaging experience. One of the game's standout features is its use of sound and music. Each artwork has its own unique soundscape and musical score, adding to the overall immersive experience. The game's art style is also top-notch, with each artwork being beautifully designed and rendered in great detail. Journey of the Broken Circle is a charming and heartfelt adventure game that takes players on an emotional journey through the life of a broken circle. You will take on the role of a circle that is missing a piece and must travel through a series of different environments in search of that missing piece. Its game mechanics are simple, with players using the circle's ability to roll and jump to navigate through each level. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the variety of obstacles and challenges in each level make for a satisfying challenge. What I really like about this game is its use of storytelling. The game's story is both touching and thought-provoking, exploring themes of identity, belonging, and self-discovery. The game's characters are also beautifully designed, with each one having their own unique personality and backstory. Mythic Ocean is an imaginative and immersive adventure game that takes players on a journey through a magical underwater world. You will take on the role of a newly appointed deity who must explore the ocean and interact with its inhabitants to shape the future of the world. The game's mechanics are a blend of exploration and decision-making, with players interacting with various creatures and influencing their actions through dialogue choices. The game's controls are simple and intuitive, allowing players to easily navigate through the underwater environment. One of the game's standout features is its world building. The ocean is beautifully designed and rendered, with each location having its own unique atmosphere and inhabitants. The game's characters are also well developed and memorable, with each one having their own motivations and personality. Stilstand is a unique and thought-provoking puzzle game that challenges players to think outside the box. You will take on the role of a character who is stuck in a never-ending cycle of routine, and you must use your problem-solving skills to break free. The game mechanics are simple, with players using a series of objects and tools to interact with the environment and progress through each level. The game's controls are easy to pick up, but the variety of puzzles and challenges make for a satisfying brain teaser. One of the game's standout features is its use of storytelling. The game's narrative is both poignant and introspective, exploring themes of routine, purpose, and the human experience. The game's minimalist art style and haunting soundtrack also add to the overall atmosphere and immersion. Cozy Grove is a delightful and heartwarming life simulation game that takes players on a journey through a mystical and charming island. You will take on the role of a spirit scout who must help the island's ghostly inhabitants find peace and happiness. The game mechanics are a blend of exploration, crafting, and daily quests, with players gathering resources and completing tasks to help the island's residents. The game's controls are simple and intuitive, allowing players to easily navigate through the lush and vibrant environment. One of the game's standout features is its unique storytelling. The game's narrative is both whimsical and touching, exploring themes of friendship, community, and personal growth. The game's characters are also well written and endearing, with each one having their own unique personality and backstory. Blasphemous is back on sale, and I think the second part has been announced recently, so this is the best time to play this game. For those who doesn't know, Blasphemous is a dark and atmospheric action platformer game that takes players on a journey through a twisted and macabre world. You will take on the role of the Penitent One, a lone warrior on a quest to break a curse that has befallen the land. The game mechanics are a blend of exploration, combat, and platforming, with players fighting their way through hordes of enemies and traversing dangerous terrain. The game's controls are tight and responsive, making for a satisfying and challenging gameplay experience. What I really love about this game is its art direction. The game's visuals are breathtaking and grotesque, with each location having its own unique aesthetic and atmosphere. The game's sound design also adds to the overall immersion and atmosphere. Narita Boy is a retro-inspired action-adventure game that takes players on a journey through a stylized digital world. You will take on the role of the eponymous hero, Narita Boy, on a quest to save the digital realm from a powerful and mysterious force. Its mechanics are a blend of exploration, combat, and puzzle solving, with players using the character's abilities to defeat enemies, navigate through levels, and uncover the secrets of the digital world. The game's controls are smooth and responsive, making for a satisfying and enjoyable gameplay experience. One of the game's standout features is its visual style. The game's art direction is a stunning blend of retro and futuristic, with vibrant colors and neon lights that transports players to a digital landscape straight out of the 80s. The game's soundtrack also adds to the overall aesthetic and atmosphere, with a synthwave score that perfectly complements the game's visual style. Going Under is a satirical dungeon crawler game that takes place in a twisted and hilarious world of corporate office culture. You will take on the role of Jackie Fiasco, an intern who must navigate through the treacherous and absurd underworld of failed startups and shattered dreams. The game mechanics are a blend of exploration, combat, and roguelike elements, with players using an array of weapons and power-ups to battle through the game's procedurally generated levels. The game's controls are responsive and intuitive, making for a fluid and enjoyable gameplay experience. One of the game's standout features is its sense of humor. The game's writing is clever and irreverent, skewering corporate culture and the tech industry with sharp and witty commentary. The game's visuals also add to the overall absurdity, with each level having its own unique and hilarious theme. The next game is one of my favorites. Yoku's Island Express is a unique and charming game that combines the gameplay mechanics of pinball with the exploration and adventure of a platformer. You will take on the role of Yoku, a dung beetle who becomes the postmaster of Mokumana Island and must help the inhabitants in their quest to save the island. The game's mechanics are a blend of platforming, pinball, and puzzle solving, with players using Yoku's ability to traverse the island and complete various tasks. The game's controls are simple and very intuitive, narrative, making for a fun and accessible gameplay experience. One of the things that I like about this game is its visual style. The game's art direction is colorful and vibrant, with each area having its own unique and whimsical atmosphere. The game's soundtrack also adds to the overall charm with a delightful and catchy score that perfectly complements the game's playful aesthetic. Greak: Memories of Azur is a beautifully crafted platformer that tells the story of three siblings, Greak, Adara, and Radel, who must work together to escape their homeland and rescue their people from the invading Urlags. This game actually reminds me of Hollow Knight for some reason. Each sibling has their own unique abilities, and players must switch between them to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies. The game mechanics are a blend of platforming, puzzle solving, and action-adventure, with players using each sibling's abilities to explore the game's beautifully crafted world and progress through the story. The game's controls are smooth and responsive, making for a satisfying and enjoyable gameplay experience. What I really like about this game is its stunning hand-drawn art style. The game's visuals are absolutely breathtaking, with lush backgrounds and vibrant character designs that bring the world of Azur to life. The game's music and sound effects also add to the overall immersion, with a beautiful and haunting score that perfectly complements the game's art direction. Super Magbot is a challenging and addictive platformer that puts players in the shoes of a robotic hero who must save his planet from an impending magnetic disaster. The game mechanics are centered around the use of magnetic force to overcome obstacles and enemies, with players using the Magbot's abilities to navigate through various levels and complete the game's challenges. The game's difficulty is what makes it stand out from other platformers, with levels becoming progressively more challenging as players progress through the game. The game's controls are tight and very responsive, making for a satisfying and enjoyable gameplay experience. One of the game's standout features is its visual style. The game's art design is colorful and eye-catching, with each level having its own unique and detailed design. The game's soundtrack is also a highlight, with catchy and upbeat score that perfectly complements the game's aesthetic. Overcooked Special Edition is a fun and chaotic cooking simulation game that is perfect for players who love teamwork and fast-paced gameplay. In this game, you will take on the role of chefs in a variety of kitchens, where you and your friend must work together to prepare and cook meals before the timer runs out. The game mechanics are simple, but the challenge comes from the need to communicate and coordinate with your team to efficiently complete each order. As players progress through the game, the levels become more challenging, with obstacles and hazards that make the cooking process even more frenzied. The game's visuals are colorful and cartoonish, with each level having its own unique design and challenges. The game's soundtrack is also a standout feature, with a fun and upbeat score that perfectly complements the game's gameplay. What I really like about this game is its multiplayer mode, which allows up to 4 players to play together locally or online. This makes the game perfect for parties and gatherings, or for players who simply want to have a good time with friends. Planet Alpha is a visually stunning and atmospheric platformer that takes players on a journey through an alien world filled with danger and wonder. In this game, you will control a mysterious protagonist who must explore the planet, solve puzzles, and evade hostile creatures in order to survive. The game mechanics are centered around exploration and puzzle solving, with players using the environment to their advantage to progress through each level. The game also has a unique day-night cycle where the environment and creatures change depending on the time of day, adding an extra layer of challenge to the gameplay. One of the game's standout features is its visuals. The game's art direction is beautiful, with each level having its own unique and detailed design. The game's use of lighting and color is also impressive, creating a vivid and immersive world that players will enjoy exploring. The Night Witch is a Metroidvania game developed by super awesome hyperdimensional mega team, which merges the bullet hell gameplay of games like Ikaruga with the Metroidvania genre. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where society has moved underground after a war between the Daigadai clan and the Night Witches. You will control Rain, the secret 5th Night Witch who must defend her home and defeat the Daigadai. The game features a story that is more focused than other Metroidvanias, and though it has a relatively short runtime, it delivers a light-hearted fairy tale that still has some serious moments. The game has a streamlined and well-paced experience with interesting upgrades that are doled out at a relatively quick pace. Are you a fan of empire building games like Civilization or city builders like City Skylines but don't have hours upon hours to spare? Look no further than the 100-Year Kingdom. This indie gem created by a solo developer out of Japan offers a nuanced and strategic gameplay loop that will keep you engaged for hours. With only 100 turns to establish a flourishing kingdom, you must make the most of each turn by building structures on a small grid of space. The game's 3 resources, food, production, and culture must be carefully managed as you progress through the game. The game's simplicity is its strength, as you start with basic developments and progress to more advanced structures that generate escalating resources. As you advance, you'll build great wonders that offer massive boosts to the quantity of resources generated by particular types of facilities. Your success in the game relies on combining these great wonders with a large number of specific buildings requiring strategic planning from the very first turn. And last but not the least, Contra Anniversary Collection. Contra Anniversary Collection is a must-have for fans of classic arcade-style shooting games. The game is a compilation of 10 classic Contra titles from the 80s and 90s, all remastered and optimized for modern consoles. The gameplay is fast-paced and intense, with players taking on hordes of enemies with an array of weapons and power-ups. Each game in the collection has its own unique levels and bosses, making for a varied and exciting gameplay experience. The game's graphics have been updated to look sharp and vibrant on modern displays, while still retaining the retro charm of the original games. The game's soundtrack is also a standout feature, with each game having its own memorable and catchy tunes. One of the best things about Contra Anniversary Collection is its multiplayer mode, which allows 2 players to team up and take on the game's challenging levels together. This makes the game perfect for couch co-op play or for online multiplayer. And that concludes our episode for today. Be sure to check out our other videos for additional gaming content and reviews. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. And as always, happy gaming. Peace.